a good idea. This guy has a better idea than I do. House Freedom Caucus member Andy Biggs of Arizona. Sir, very good to have you.
Thanks for letting me be with you, Neil.
Let me ask you first about the overture on the part of Chuck Schumer, maybe owing to all the horror this week, that he wants to see if maybe he could build off of that and maybe get Democrats and Republicans in the same room to thrash this out. What do you think?
Well, you know, that's kind of hard for me to believe, and maybe I'm too cynical, I guess. I'm first of all grateful for the Capitol Police. They were heroic and great, and our prayers still go out with Steve Scalise, those wounded and their families. But as we go to the work, I'm kind of surprised that now Chuck Schumer is going to weigh in, and I'd be even more surprised if the Republicans in the Senate took him up on his offer.
But do you fear that if you don't, it looks like we're back to the old ways?
Well, I think we're not going to really get too much out of the old way anyway. I think what's going to happen is you're going to push conservatives off who we made these promises of repeal, and the only part of the last bill that really was a solid repeal was the repeal of the taxes, and that's what's being attacked right now is some of the taxes they want to leave in. And so if you're going to go that way, then why would you move to the Democrats instead of move back to the conservatives and say we want to? That's
interesting. That's sticking in your craws, and I would imagine more than just guys like you. I mean, that idea that you'd keep a lot of the taxes in place to presumably pay. I think that's what they're saying for this increased Medicaid coverage that a lot of governors, for example, want. That isn't going to fly with guys like you, is it?
It's like a lead balloon, Neil.
So what do you want to see now? As you know, because the president himself said of the plan, and to be fair, you rejected this plan, if memory serves me right. But the president said that House measure was mean. So if that was mean, and they're coming across with something that is Senate Republicans that is, I guess, deemed less mean because it provides more money or keeps more taxes, where are we going here?
Well, you know, it's really mean, and I don't know what the president said. I wasn't there, and I don't know what his motivation was and what he was really thinking. But one thing I do know is that we all promised a straight repeal, and if we're bogged down, maybe it's because what we're doing is we're just kind of fiddling around the edges of Obamacare. Maybe it's because we're just not really keeping our promises to the American people. And that's really what's mean, is when you don't keep your promises. And when you look at it, and if you're not going to repeal the taxes, and you're looking at the costs that are going up, and people who are losing their health insurance daily in this country, maybe that's what's really mean. And maybe that's why we need to go back to a straight repeal.
Sir, that you're saying that if that measure, what the Republicans are apparently cooking up in the Senate, calls for keeping a lot of the Obamacare taxes in place, the surtax on Medicare for the well-to-do, et cetera, right, devices and all of that's not going anywhere with you, or for that matter, your caucus.
Well, I can't speak for the whole caucus, but I can tell you that in my little echo chamber of folks I talk to, that's really hard to conceive that we would go that way, and for me, that's just anathema.
All right. Thank you. Very good seeing you, sir. Hope you have a good Father's Day weekend.